Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review Wormwood Gentleman Corpse Volume 1. And before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it. All right, so Wormwood Gentleman Corpse. This is an interesting series, I'll say. It's a book from like the mid 2000s that came out. It is written and drawn by Ben Templesmith, who's an Australian artist, I believe. And he has this really interesting style where everything kind of looks like, I don't know, like highlighted or neon or something, but in like a good way, like a creepy, weird way. So, but this book specifically is kind of like I think it's one of his first forays on his own, where he wasn't working with a writer; he was just putting out his own stuff. So this first volume is called Birds, Bees, Beer, and Blood. So that gives you a little bit about it. But basically, this is kind of like a horror title that not a lot of people know about. It's like light horror because it's kind of tongue in cheek as well. It's kind of along the lines of Hellboy, where there's like comedy in it. Just kind of the way he acts is kind of, well, time to go to work or whatever, you know. So he's not working with anybody like a firm like Hellboy is. So he's actually even more blasé about having to fight these monsters and demons and stuff. So what Wormwood is he is an intergalactic, interdimensional, immortal larval worm with a liking for fine stout strippers and mostly every other vice on Earth. So he is actually like this little baby worm, and if you look at all the pictures of Wormwood, it's got a corpse on the front of it because it's a gentleman corpse, but he's actually the little worm inside of the right eye, and so technically Wormwood is just that worm. The corpse is kind of he can possess any corpse, which is like how he gets around kind of thing faster and kind of blends into everywhere. But he just likes Earth basically as like a base, a home base, because he likes all the vices. He likes to hang out at strip clubs and drink beer. He has a robot that he made specifically as a drinking buddy, just to drink with him and talk to him, called Mr. Pendulum. And that guy, he looks like not like a robot at all. He looks like an old man or something. So it's funny, but he actually is also kind of like a bodyguard because he carries around a shotgun. Says he's a shotgun enthusiast. So he, if Wormwood gets in trouble, he'll pull out a shotgun and help out. Basically, the premise of this book is Wormwood hangs out at the strip club and stuff happens around him, and then he ends up having to solve a mystery, fix a demon problem, gets called up by a friend to help for something. So kind of things happen to him, and then we follow him on those journeys. So he's got kind of like a little crew, not as big as like BPRD with Hellboy, but like I said, it's him, and then it's got Mr. Pendulum, the robot that he made. There's Miss Medusa, who is the owner of the strip club that he hangs out, named Dark Alley. And the strip club is kind of like it's a two-for spot. It is also a interdimensional portal nexus where like it's kind of like an airport. Like people traveling interdimensionally or demons or spirits or whatever, they will go there and they kind of land at the strip club. They get checked in, they get approved or whatever, and have to go through customs and all that, and then they are allowed on Earth. She made this arrangement to do that. Like she said, I want to live like thousands of years, and so that was kind of the bargain. She could live thousands of years if she ran this strip club and guarded this interdimensional gate, which is a lot of where the problem is, because that's where a lot of the demons and bad stuff come from. So finally, there's a newly hired bodyguard named Phoebe Phoenix, who is we don't know what her skills are at first. She just kind of shows up, says, I'm here for the bodyguard job. She has guns, obviously, but like other than that, it's kind of like, okay, we're fighting kind of like supernatural or interdimensional beings and aliens and stuff. So is that going to work, kind of thing? And turns out she also has the power. She's got these tattoos on her, and they kind of like astral project and can tear shit apart too. So she's actually got some powers of her own to hold up. And then last but not least, this guy's kind of just a friend that shows up every now and then, specifically in this book. But there's a ghost named Trotsky that I don't know if it's actually supposed to be Trotsky's ghost or just its name. He calls him Trotsky, but he's Wormwood's friend, and he's the guy that kind of like comes up and asks for help in this volume. So he is a ghost that has had bad karma when he was alive, so he's solving crimes to work off that debt. And so with that introduction, we start with issue 1 of this book. So basically while showing Phoebe around, because she just got hired, being new, he's just kind of showing her, oh, here's my house, here's all the weapons I have, here's all the lore books I have. He's like, I don't use this stuff that often, but when I need it, it comes in handy. So he's got all that there. And while he's there, we see Trotsky approach them, and he's like, hey, I need some help solving these crimes. There's been some weird, gruesome births happening. So kind of spontaneous pregnancies going on, and then birthing right away. And the births are not nice. They just tear the person open. And we see like what kind of happens is a couple will have sex, and then instantly after they have sex, the woman starts blowing up and gets killed by this like demon baby that's got like squid face and everything, and comes out of her. And the thing kind of looks like an alien, but with like a Cthulhu mouth or something. So and then it kills the man as well after it gets out of the woman. So these births have been happening all over town. So Trotsky's been trying to solve these murders because they've been happening all over town, and he hasn't been able to get his head around it. So then issue 2 starts, and we see kind of like a reveal of what's been happening. There is a drug dealer who's got this like Asian mask on, kind of looks like an Asian vampire or something, but it's a mask for sure. And he's like going to people, specifically men, at like gyms and stuff. But like as they walk out of the gym, he's in like a back alley. He'd be like, "Come here, I got something for you," and he's offering them sexual performance enhancing drugs. So he's like, you need to, this will help you, this will make it good, and it's free. Like he's giving free samples away. So he's getting the men to take these things, and that's the crux of like how basically they're taking this, and then we're assuming that they have sex, and then the women get pregnant, and that's the whole point, is that they birth these babies. But later in the issue, we find out that you don't need a female in that. If you just wait long enough, you will also just give birth yourself as a man. So we see the guy from the beginning who was given the pill, and he's like in a BDSM, like we'll call it like a dominatrix place, and he's getting like whipped. So he's not having sex, but he's just sexually stimulated or whatever. And all of a sudden he starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then he explodes, and then the demon escapes and kills the woman that was the dominatrix. So that's like the crime scene that they investigate in this one. And they're like, so not only, we're not just looking for like something that births out of women or whatever. It's not. So the point is not to kill women or anything like that. The point is just to birth these things into being. So then like the third issue is leading up into like basically how this guy's getting the drugs in the first place. While Wormwood's like asking his demon friends, like, hey, have you heard anything about any of you guys doing any weird stuff, or like, getting ready for something? And the demon's like, no, I haven't heard anything about that. But it turns out that it is in fact a demon that's doing this, because it's the drug dealer guy takes off his mask, and he's got like a demon face. Kind of looks like the bad guys in Blade 2, like the super vampires or whatever, where the face opens up, or like Predator or something. But then there's like a Cthulhu mouth inside. So this demon named Buer is he is working with the Yakuza, we find out, because the Yakuza bring over these sexual enhancement drugs, and then he spikes them with demon semen and then gives them out to these guys. It actually does impregnate them, but it gets passed to the woman through intercourse, and then that's why the woman would give birth. If not, the seeds just stay inside of them, and the men will give birth. So that is what's been going on. But the way Wormwood finds out the Yakuza's involved in kind of what's going on is basically, since the Yakuza are no longer needed because this demon is about ready to finish his plan, which we're not sure about yet, like why he's doing this, he kills all the Yakuza at the docks. Wormwood's like, oh, this is probably with our, what's going on with our guy. They find all these blue pills around these dead Yakuza. So like, okay, there's the sexual enhancement drugs. Basically, they're like, well, we need to find a way to track back to the demon who's doing this. So Wormwood just he takes a pill, one of the pills in his own body, in his corpse body, and he jumps his little worm self out of his eye, but he's still like connected to the body like psychically. And so then that body gives birth, and they tie like a lasso around its neck. And so this demon baby runs away, drags this corpse with it, and they follow it because Wormwood is psychically linked to it. So that's actually how they find the main bad guy, Buer. So they track him down back to his place, Turns out all these demon babies are going to be used to open a portal to a demon world where he's trying to bring forth the, like, I guess mega demon, or like, big bad demon Moloch, who is going to like eat the world, and then he expects to get rewarded for that. So he hasn't even talked to Moloch about it or anything. And so, big fight ensues. I don't want to spoil exactly how everything happens, and I left a bunch of stuff out, so go back and read this book for sure, because it's definitely really cool. The art is fantastic, very cool stuff, but it doesn't end like you think it will. The fights, unlike like Hellboy, where he just kind of punches everything, Wormwood isn't actually a fighter. He is just kind of like, oh, like, I just like to drink beer and watch women dance scantily. So he's always trying to get back to zero, which is that. So he's just kind of like, he's been around the block. He's able to kind of talk his way out of things. He's a smooth talker for sure. And he knows a lot of people. He knows a lot of things about these demons, demon worlds, all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't end like you think it would, but it is definitely fun, and I highly recommend it. I would give this book, this first trade, like a solid 4 out of 5. It was just kind of like a fun, quick read. There's not like too much. There's no inner thoughts or anything like that. It's just like quick. We're getting to the point. The art on every page is fantastic. So it might slow you down just to look at that. But if you like Ben Templesmith stuff, definitely check this one out. You might have missed it. I'm not sure if it's all in print still. I know it is available digitally on Comixology and Amazon. So I'm assuming IDW has some of these in print still. I think there's 3 or 4 volumes of it. So you get like a good little supernatural series out of this, which is really fun. But be sure to check this one out if any of that interested you. And I'm going to be doing some more of these kind of books for Halloween, just kind of trying to pick more in the supernatural or horror region of books that you might not know about for this month. And with that, we'll see you guys on the next one.